Hello YouTube, it's Charles the Destroyer, and today we're gonna watch the roast of Rent a Girlfriend. So grab your snackies, grab your bevies, let me know what you're eating and or drinking down below. And let's get to watching.
If you're the sort of anime lover who loves anime about love, then you have been eaten mighty well over the last few years. OG classics like Fruits Basket and Urusei Yatsura are coming back better than ever before, while the series carrying on their legacy in the modern day have been pushing every boundary they can find. Boundaries of intimacy and vulnerability, boundaries of representation and gender roles, boundaries of thematic depth and plot complexity. Hell, even boundaries of good taste. No matter your taste, I guarantee there's a new romance anime out there right now that will challenge your perspective on love and speak to you on a deep and personal level. But what if you don't want that? What if thinking about real love and relationships from a new perspective just bums you out? What if new, challenging ideas and emotional complexity are scary and disquieting? What if you're just plain lonely and sad, and all you want is some quick, easy wish fulfillment that lets you live and love vicariously through a guy who's somehow even sadder and lonelier than you? You know, a classic rom-com, like your sad, lonely uncle used to enjoy back in his day, but, you know, with smartphones and Instagram and shit, so you can pretend it's not a prehistoric artifact. That is where Rent a Girlfriend comes in. It tells the tale of Kazuya Kinoshita, a down-on-his-luck college boy who, as per the title, rents a fake girlfriend to cope with the pain of his first real girlfriend dumping him inside a month after exactly one mediocre kiss. So that's the sadder and lonelier box ticked. The fake girlfriend he chooses to rent, Chizuru Mizuhara, is traditionally beautiful, busty, intelligent, considerate, demure, and forthright as the situation calls, and pretty much out of his league in every single conceivable way.
I just gotta say, 100%, I could never do this because my paranoia would never let me. Like, for me, this is how you get got. This is how you get disappeared. So, like, I just...
Plus, she kinda thinks he's an asshole on account of how he acts like one most of the time. For instance, immediately after their first date, when he goes home and reads comments about her work from other customers and gets mad that she made them feel special the same way that she did him, like it was her job to do, so he leaves her a 1-star review complaining that she sucks at fish trivia. In response to that, she studies fish trivia for their next date because she's a very go-getting, kind-hearted type of person who doesn't let stuff like that get her down, but he still acts like a surly little baby asshole about it, so she decides then and there that she never wants to talk to him again. But just then, his grandma gets sick, so they gotta rush to the hospital, where, to cheer her up, he introduces Chizuru as his girlfriend, which is her job, so that much is fine, except that when Granny runs off to brag to all her hospital besties about how her grandson landed a total hottie, it turns out that her best bestie is Chizuru's granny, who doesn't know about her job. Also turns out they go to the same school and live in the same apartment building, right next to each other. So now she's stuck with him pretty much all the time, forever. And
I hate this. Like, first of all, I'd be like, nah, man, you're gonna get your money back. I'm going home. Good luck with your grandma. I'm out. Like, if you're gonna be the biggest asshat I have ever fucking met and you're gonna try to hurt my dime, I'm fucking out. Just 100%. Like, you are renting companionship that is supposed to make you feel special because you are such a asshat loser that you cannot get a girl that wants to do this because she loves you. Because this is how you act. Like 100% what is wrong with you. This is how you act. Get your head out your ass. Take a look around the world. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm out. I would not be in that hospital. I don't care. I would not go. 100% would not go. Like, I don't girl, why are you in this situation? Like, okay, it's your job. That's fine. Surely your job has protections of some sort. and you can see yourself out of this mess. Like 100%. Like, oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope.
I guess standing up for herself and telling Kazuya off.
Yeah, the problem is that her grandma's roped into now. The issue is I would not be in that situation. I would be like, nope, you treated me this way. I am done. Contract over. I'll give you a refund. Never contact me again. You are blacklisted. Oh, your grandmother's sick? Good luck with that. So sorry. Goodbye. Not going with you to the hospital. Why would I do that? Why would I go with you to the hospital?
Here,
after
let
being
me
treated like
get this for you.
Oh my God. Jaeger, thank you so much for the 25 gifted. That's crazy. Thank you. Sorry that I'm on sorry, I'm on a rant. Like, why did she go? She should not have gone. That's all I'm saying. Thank you so much for the 25 gifted. That is crazy. Thank you. I feel like they're trying to. This
Here,
feels too
let
forced
me
to me.
get this for you.
Anonymous gifted. Thank you for the gifted sub. Oh, crazy today.
For being an asshole is just like her tsundere thing that she does, because while he does
Wait,
learn
what?
like up for herself and telling Kazuya off for being an asshole is just like her tsundere thing that she does, because while he does learn that one lesson about being entitled around her job in episode 1, it is literally the only lesson he'll ever learn, and spoilers, even after giving him a stern talking to, she lets him get away with pretty much everything forever, even when it's a crime. So now we can tick off the wish fulfillment box too. Or at least start to, since there's other girls in our hero's orbit too, obviously. Some by choice even, like the shy one who's nervous around boys and he helps her get over that. Or the younger one with short blue hair who falls in puppy love with him but is...
Why is her bow just getting constantly bigger? Also, hey grandma, it didn't work out. I'm no longer dating that dude. We decided to part ways. What do you mean? That she's just letting him get away with stuff, including when it's illegal? No! No! Have some self-respect. Don't put up with this. I don't know.
Kind of annoying about it, and he's got to deal with that, and... You know, now that I think of it, this anime actually has a lot in common with specifically the most popular tropes from Love Hina, and now that I think about it a little more, the tsundere who shares a wall against her will with the protagonist also hides her identity at college by putting her hair up, wearing glasses, and using an alias, so... yeah, that's pretty blatant, actually. There are some differences, obviously. Kazuya has more male friends with
Except Love Hina has Kentaro grow consistently, as opposed to this.
marginally defined personalities than your typical Keitaro, for instance, but yeah, Rent-A-Girlfriend is pretty much just your typical Akamatsu-type waifu merchandising engine, only instead of the standard mystery childhood friend roulette plot structure, it's been retrofitted onto a more modern Kawahara-type wife guy harem chassis. And
sometimes the like updated version of a classic is not a bad idea, and people do like it. Like, you know, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. I actually dropped my soda on my keyboard. It didn't spill, but like that's why I did that. Oh, this guy hates Love Hina, by the way. You disagree? No, I'm just saying like tropes specifically, like using like kind of tropey stuff and just updating it. People like tropes for a reason, right? They're tropes for a reason. But making the main character just not have growth is it's an L. Like, I don't care. It is an L. Ew. Don't really like the ones where the main love interest consistently gets away with abusing the main character. Yeah. We want comeuppance. We want lessons learned. We want character growth. Character growth. It's important. It's legitimately important.
If 240 chapters and counting are any indication, that was a pretty brilliant marketing move. At this point, harem audiences already know that it's gonna be the tsundere, and even if it's not the tsundere, every other possible subversion has also been done to death by now, so it makes sense to drop the mystery angle altogether and just write a story where the main character's explicit goal is to get with the tsundere. Cut out the middleman and give the people what they want. That's just good business. But it's also just absolutely dogshit writing. You see, wife guy harems, wherein the hero zeroes in on a specific love interest early on, but picks up an entourage of female admirers on the way to winning her heart, tend to work best as B-plots in non-romantic anime. There's a reason I cited SAO as
I was about to say, that sounds like Sword Art Online. Because that's kind of what happens in Sword Art Online.
the prototypical example. They can provide very potent wish fulfillment, but they do so by actually progressing the core relationship at a satisfying pace, which directly goes against your typical low-effort rom-com's priorities of keeping the leads in a will-they-won't-they holding pattern for as long as humanly possible, so no one notices they don't actually have any romantic chemistry. It's not impossible to create a good standalone harem story within the wife guy framework. Toradora made it work by having the main character slowly realize that his husband girl wing lady was the wife he really needed all along. But the Rent-A-GF Target demo doesn't really want to be told that the things they want might not actually be the things they need. They want the things they want wrapped up in a nice little bow and nothing else except for a handwritten tag reading, "This year, I'm your present," on a December Megami magazine foldout. Toradora was also defined by a sense of constant forward momentum, fueled by rich, motivated characters who felt like fully realized human beings with their own goals and dreams and shit. Even the protagonist. And I don't know if Reiji Miyajima can write a story like that, but this one definitely isn't one.
You know what's upsetting? The character designs for the girls are really good in the show. And the merchandise you can get for the show is amazing. I actually have like a acrylic picture, I guess, of the main character, and it is beautiful because the way they layered the acrylics and the printing and all this other stuff, it looks really pretty. But like the writing though. Like the writing though. I just
Literally, the only things that I can tell you about Kazuya as a person, besides the fact that he wants a girlfriend and doesn't have a girlfriend,
is that he's a shitbag with no character development? Is he a shitbag with no character development who's stuck up his own ass? Is that what you're going to tell me? Because that's what I'm feeling. So sorry.
whines all the time about not having a girlfriend, are that he really likes his grandmother and also fish. That's it. Those are all of his character traits.
That's his entire personality. He's whiny about how lonely he is. He likes his grandma, and he has a hyperfixation on fish. Okay.
Wait, sorry, that's not entirely fair. He also has precisely two flaws. One, he lies constantly to avoid embarrassment and rejection, even more so than most harem protagonists.
Oh, good.
And two, he's dense as fuck. Again, even more so than most harem protagonists, and that is an incredibly scary thought. Kazuya literally cannot intuit a single thing for himself. A girl could tell him exactly how she feels about him to his face, and 5 minutes later, he'll be wondering if she meant the exact opposite of what she said. If it is possible to
Okay, but like I'm a pessimist, so I'm a paranoid pessimist, so don't tell me I'm this dude. Don't tell me I hate this dude. Oh, I hate him is the section. That is funny. Don't tell me I'm this dude. That's not nice.
Misunderstand something, Kazuya will misunderstand it. If it is impossible to misunderstand something, Kazuya will misunderstand it even harder. And speaking of harder, there is one other thing of note that I should probably note about this protagonist and his quote-unquote personality. Perhaps in an effort to make Kazuya more relatable to the target audience, or maybe just as a show of confidence in his own art and waifu designs, which, to be fair, are very good. The show's success largely rides on how good they are. Miyajima made the bold artistic choice to depict his own protagonist jerking off to his own waifus. Not just once, but a couple times. Per volume, he jerks it so much that the entire ending credit sequence for the entire show is all about how much he jerks it all the time. One could even argue that jerking it is Kazuya's single most important and defining character trait.
So, dude got like a fetish, huh? And he just wants to tell people about it. Or something. Yeah? Like, you could kind of tell that there's some art, like mangaka, that kind of have like a fetish that they like, right? Sometimes it's like NTR. Sometimes it's like some other stuff. I could be wrong. I just feel like that's kind of, yeah, quote unquote, the author's thinly disguised fetish. I'm just kind of like, why does that? Because don't get me wrong, I read a lot of manga, and occasionally, you know, a scene happens, or it's like hinted at, or whatever, and like, sure. Not to this degree normally. I mean, there are some that do it to this degree normally, but usually it's like, you're not supposed to look up to these characters that are doing that. Or it's an 18 plus novel, like, you know, series or something, you know? It's like mature. I don't know about necessarily 18 plus, but it's like a mature series or something. What? Like, bruh, I don't, this has broken my brain a little bit. Like, I will be 100% with you. I've not watched or read this series. I've heard a lot about it. And my takeaway is like, this dude, the main character, is just horrendously unlikable. And like, that just does not change. Ever. I'm so confused.
I mean, Fish didn't make it in the OP till season 2, and Granny hasn't gotten any credit time at all, so you tell me what this show thinks is the most significant thing about him. Now, perhaps there are other facets of Kazuya that get revealed in manga chapters I haven't read yet that add significant richness and depth to his character, but I kinda doubt it, because from the ones that I did read, it sure seems like his entire character arc is just a perfectly straight line. In Chapter 4, he's painted as a self-absorbed, sex-obsessed loser who pops a raging boner whenever he pictures a girl he likes with another guy, even in the middle of a public restaurant. And by Chapter 218, he's a self-absorbed, sex-obsessed loser who pops a raging boner whenever he pictures a girl he likes with another guy, even in the middle of a public pool. Oh God! Ah! But now I'm getting way way ahead of myself and frankly overshooting the whole scope of this video. I know some of you really want me to go stupid in depth with this one, but after making my Kaguya-sama documentary, essentially, I just don't have it in me to read another 240 plus chapters of rom-com.
Especially a rom-com that I don't think you like. Because it's one thing to read something that's long that you like and enjoy. Because why do you read anything? At least for me, I read things to read the journey, right? Like, even if someone spoils the ending, if it's something I will like, I will read for the journey getting there. I cannot read something that I just do not like. Like, if I'm reading it, I'm like, wow, I really don't enjoy any of this. It is a chore. It is horrible, right? Like, it sucks. If you don't like it, I also wouldn't want to read 240 plus chapters of something that I do not like.
Especially when the ones I have looked at so far are so very...
I do appreciate that they are adults, though. They're like all in college. I guess you can make an argument about what is considered a legal adult in Japan, because I'm pretty sure it's older than 18. But still, like, they are basically adults, so I appreciate that.
Very not good. Those include the most recent 30 or so chapters, plus a handful of 2 to 4 chapter arcs that I literally picked at random from throughout the rest of the manga. And the weird thing is, the only point where I felt like I had missed literally anything of significance in the story during my self-imposed time skips was when a character literally died. So I also read the one arc where that happened, which was easily far and away the best part of the entire manga, by the way, and henceforth I was never confused by anything I read in any random chapter again. Now, to be fair,
Awesome. Hold on.
confused
So
by
sorry.
anything I read in any random chapter again. Now, to be fair,
I
by
missed it again.
anything I read in
Appreciate this foot placement, this ankle placement. Appreciate that with me. Just turn this off real quick so you can see it. Yeah. No peeking for you.
in any random chapter again. Now, to be fair, I have poisoned my entire brain with a fuckload of harem anime, and your average anime enjoyer probably won't be able to skip around to random parts and fill in the blanks the way I can, but even so, there just don't seem to be that many blanks to fill to begin with. At least 90% of the story that I experienced in my random sample was just the characters going on dates for the sake of going on dates, or trying to get through an event with their friends or families without spilling the beans about the whole rental thing. Just simple episodic plots that are forgotten as soon as they're over and do nothing to shift the status quo.
I hate these types of stories, by the way. I know that there are some stories that are just like, oh, it's like daily life stuff, like slice of life, right? Depending on the slice of life, I can watch it and it's fine, and I enjoy watching it. For the most part, if it just feels like you're wasting my time, it drives me insane. Like, I don't like to feel like my time's being wasted. Like this episode brought no further to the journey, to the plot, nothing. It was a nothing burger. I'm sitting here just wasting my time hoping for development. There's no development. The last 3 episodes have had no development. The next 3 episodes are going to have no development. Quit wasting my time. That's how I feel. I'm going to be 100%. Skip Beat. Yes. Oh my God. I read so much of Skip Beat. I watched Skip Beat anime. I read so much of Skip Beat. And then I gave up. Okay? I motherfucking gave up on Skip Beat. I thought it was so good. I really enjoyed it. I love a revenge love story. Like, yes, let's go. Well, a revenge story with love thrown into it. Whatever. I love that shit. I was like, I'm so tired of the same fucking thing happening every fucking arc. Every arc is the same thing. with a different little twist. And the twist is because Skip Beat is in like the like acting industry basically, or idol industry or whatever. So she would go and she would act and she would learn a different type of personality to act out or whatever. I got so tired of it. I was like, this is the same fucking thing. This is the same thing. And you're just giving me random reasons about why she and the dude can't be, like, why they can't be romantic. I'm so tired of this. I'm out. You got me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. And then it just didn't end. Drives me crazy. I cannot explain to you. Quit it. Quit just writing the same shit over and over and over again. Like, and by that, I mean like, hey, maybe your story doesn't have to be 300 chapters long. Maybe it only needs to be 150 chapters. Maybe it doesn't even need to be 100. Okay? I know, wild. But you're just dragging it on. The amount of like manga and manhwa that I have abandoned because I'm like, cool, I'm reading this journey, I'm reading this thing because I want the main character and the guy to end up together. And it's like, cool, they ended up together. There's still another 100 chapters of them doing something. I don't give a shit. I'm out. Like, I got to the part that I cared about and I am now out because they're just dragging shit on and I no longer care. It's like y'all don't know how to end stuff. It feels like they don't know how to end stuff and they're just writing. They don't know how to make a satisfying ending. I don't know if that's true. Like, some of them, they do are just like, no, okay, they're together, but now they have to get revenge, and revenge is what she was after the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I don't care. Like, I can't invest anymore into this. I'm gonna be honest. The one thing I cared about happened, and so I'm out. Like, cannot explain to you how often that happens to me. It happens a lot. Maybe I don't have the attention span. I don't know. But like, if you're gonna rinse and repeat the same freaking type of thing over and over and over and over again, I'm gonna lose interest. Anyway, so sorry. Sorry for my rant.
Reiji Miyajima's credit, there is at least a distinct sense of forward momentum in the minute-to-minute action of the series itself, enough to help individual chapters and episodes go down smooth. But when you pull back from even just the end of the first season to measure how far he's actually traveled as a character, it's instantly obvious that Kazuya was never really moving forward at all, just bobbing up and down in front of some speed lines to create the illusion. And once you see that, it's hard not to see every other character doing the exact same thing.
Dang.
Especially the waifus, of course, because if anything people like about it ever changed at all, the manga might stop making money. And hey, the series got over 200 chapters plus 2 different TV shows. You can't argue with results, but you can point out how the pursuit of those results resulted in a completely gridlocked story whose characters can never be anything more than exactly what the audience expects from them. With exactly one exception, which that audience happens to hate more than anything, but let's talk about the other girlfriends first. And by first, I mean after a word from today's sponsor.
Hey, Kazuya, I've got a question for you. Have you Chizuru's yet?
Golly geez, Grandma, that's not a very grandma question to ask.
Yes, that is the entire joke. But your stammering tells me more than enough. Son, what you need is some liquid courage.
You mean liquor?
No, stupid! G-Fuel! Not only does their patented, delicious energy formula make you a more
It really depends on the grandma about whether or not that's a grandma question.
focused, capable gamer, the blend of focus aminos and antioxidants will make you a better lover, too.
I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Nonsense! And it's just the start. Why, drinking G-Fuel also gives me better pull rates in my favorite waifu gacha.
Grandma, you definitely can't say that. That's big false advertising.
Why not? I said it last week on my podcast, right before the bit about how you can use the promo code BASEMENT at gfuel.com to get 30% off an order of any size. And right after the bit about how the vaccines are turning people into Digimon. Granny, are you okay? Sure am. I just drank 5 cups of G Fuel and I've never felt better. Good thing we're in a hospital.
Now, just to be crystal clear up front, I don't blame anyone for thinking any of these girls is best girl. From an animation appeal perspective, they're all absolutely adorable. Their voice actresses do a killer job across the board. They were all conceived and marketed as effectively the best conceivable date that a certain kind of guy could ever hope to go on. And if there's one thing that both the show and the manga are genuinely exceptional at, it's hitting you square in the face with a full, concentrated blast of moe. They really pull out every trick in the book to make these gals as button cute as possible. And it works, but therein lies the rub. A different kind of rub from the one in the end credits, because when you take away those tricks, there really isn't much left to any of them as characters. Chizuru, at least, presents a modicum of depth as a character through her relationship with her grandmother and aspirations as an actress. You know, when I watch her struggle and try her best, I definitely want her to succeed a lot, and she certainly has the other girls beat in terms of explicitly stated interests and skills that aren't related to boys or dating, because she has one. But the parts of her story that aren't standard rom-com or tsundere tropes are all just standard idol anime tropes with acting instead of singing and dancing, so it's not really anything you haven't seen before. And again, I've got to applaud that from a marketing perspective. What if Naru Narusegawa was an aspiring idol is the kind of kajillion-dollar idea so brilliantly obvious you wonder why no one thought of it sooner. Especially since there's already so much art of Naru as an idol. But as someone who's actually seen Love Hina, values his time on this earth, and now watches rom-coms primarily for the chemistry between the leads instead of wish fulfillment, it doesn't really hold all that much appeal for me, personally. I do think I could conceivably enjoy a 30-ish chapter short manga that was just about Chizuru's acting ambitions and her and Kazuya's weird families, but in the context of this very, very not short manga, that storyline feels about as drawn out and watered down as the main plot of Detective Conan, to the point where I can't even really hold it up as a point in the series' favor. And pacing is far from this anime's only problem. To me,
I hate an anime with bad pacing. I'm sorry, I cannot stand it. I cannot stand bad pacing. I felt personally, y'all might not agree with me, it's totally fine. I really felt like Sword Art Online has some pacing issues. I feel like they tried to cram too much stuff in at once, or like they didn't impress upon the watcher the actual passage of time that is happening well. That's me personally. Like they kind of tell you sort of, and then you're just supposed to be like, okay, yeah, it's been years, I guess, but like it doesn't feel like it's been years. It drives me insane.
One of the key signs of a worthwhile rom-com, not even a good one, just competent enough to keep watching, is its ability to make me believe in the feelings shared by the leads. If a writer can't justify through characterization alone what their love interests actually see in each other, you know, what they'd get emotionally out of being in a relationship with that other character, said writer probably shouldn't be doing romance. And if they insist on making things about cute girls, I would suggest sticking to slice of life club shenanigans. On that note, I think it speaks volumes about Rent-a-Girlfriend that the series has Kazuya save 2 different girls from falling to their death off a high-up thing in the space of 4 episodes as the explicit inciting incident of those girls catching feelings for him. He's such an unbelievable fucking goober that is the only way a girl liking him is even remotely plausible. In Chizuru's case, that initial spark is just the start of a very, very, very slow burn romance, but in Ruka Sarashina's case, one dose of suspension bridge effect plus one accidental boob grab is all it takes for her to quit her job as a rental and commit herself full time to stalking our hero protagonist. Guy who the story happens to, applying to work at his job, and even blackmailing him into being her boyfriend, which would normally be everything Kazuya ever wanted, but one of his best friends paid Ruka for a couple dates, so that would be a violation of the bro code and kind of awkward, except, no it wouldn't. They didn't date. That just doesn't make any sense. But also there's another reason, which is just coincidentally, the other night, he happened to realize, while attempting to jerk it to his ex, that actually he's in love with Chizuru now. And he can't just throw away everything he has with the girl who's told him multiple times to his face by now that their relationship is strictly professional and nothing will ever happen between them for some easy floozy who only even wants him because she's convinced herself that he's her first and only ever one true love. Now, you might be wondering how a girl that
seems like a lot. That just seems like a lot. I'm gonna be honest. What is likable about this guy? He saved you? Okay, cool, I guess, but maybe I wouldn't want to date a stalker either. I'm just saying.
First and only ever one true love. Now, you might be wondering how a girl that beautiful could get such a silly idea in her head about a guy this Kazuya, but you know,
he makes her magical broken heart work. What?
You know what? You're gonna feel silly in a sec for even calling it silly, because actually, Ruka has the most tragic backstory ever. They made a whole special sad ending credits sequence about it. That's how tragic this backstory is. Honestly, I don't know if you're even prepared to carry all this weight.
This seems sarcastic.
But I've given you all the warning I can now, so I'm just gonna drop it on you. Ruka has a heart condition that made it real hard for her to make friends in school because her teachers were always giving her special treatment. More specifically, her heartbeat is unusually slow, so she's never once felt it truly race without passing out shortly thereafter. Thus, the sole reason that she became a rental girlfriend in the first place was to find herself a man who could bring that BPM up just by holding her hand. Which wouldn't make her pass out, of course, because, as we all know, organs can tell whether or not the stimuli that would normally cause them to malfunction is a result of emotions rather than physical activity. That's how the suspension bridge effect works. Wait, giving the main character a stalker isn't the worst idea for a harem anime plot.
What? I'm sorry. I know y'all's favorite thing is when I just pause and have to absorb information into my brain because it doesn't make any sense to me. That makes no sense. Like, that is stupid. Like, that's stupid. I said it. That's just stupid. Whatever the hell that was stupid.
Line, devil-worshipping billionaire heiress Lisa Fukuyama is one of the funniest parts of the funniest harem anime, Girls Bravo, after all. But even if you're going for a less comedic angle, which I assume is what Rent-a-Girlfriend is doing,
she decided he's her soulmate because her heart rate went up after she fell down the stairs. Oh man, I almost died and this dude caught me, and because this dude caught me, obviously he's my soulmate because my heartbeat increased, not because I almost thought not because I thought I almost died, or my adrenaline spiked because I fell down the fucking stairs, and that is scary. It's this dude. Oh my god.
because watching Kazuya gaslight his family into thinking Ruka's a pathological liar to cover for his pathological lying isn't exactly
Ew.
what I'd call funny. There is definitely potential serious narrative value in showing an awkward, lovesick character like this what unwanted romantic attention feels like. Or there would be if said character was capable of learning even a single lesson, but this is Kazuya, the anti-pool boy Kinoshita we're talking about here, so the way he chooses to deal with the stress and discomfort of being stalked by someone he doesn't like is by secretly following Chizuru all day while she's on a Christmas Eve date with another guy. And, of course, her only response to that is to be all like, hey, man, stalking, that's no good. Don't do that, please. To me, at least, if not other girls, if you can help it, you know? And then she hands him a Christmas present early, almost like a reward for what he did.
Okay. First of all, if you were like a rent-a-girlfriend person, I would just expect to get stalkers. Like, this is why I mean, like, this is how you get got. I could never. Too paranoid for this. Couldn't do it. Do not reward someone for doing something you do not like. The same could be said if you have a pet. Like, don't give them a treat after they tear up your couch. All right? Definitely don't be like, hey, dude, don't stalk me. That's fucked up and illegal, and don't do it. It's not okay. Also, here is your Christmas present. Okay, bye. Like, what? What? Just... This is hurting my brain. This is hurting my ideas. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? This is terrible and stupid and I hate it.
Serious question. Do you think maybe her brain was damaged a little when she fell off that boat? It would explain, you know, her having feelings for Kazuya at all, but also a lot of the weird decisions she makes. Like, a couple episodes after this, she somehow comes to the conclusion that the best possible guy to help her shy coworker who's nervous around guys and people in general come out of her shell is the guy who's constantly inventing excuses to violate the terms of service and her boundaries to the point that he literally stalked her like a month ago. The shy girl in question, Sumi Sakurasawa, doesn't really get enough screen time in season 1 for me to say much about her, but I will at least say that I like what I've seen of her. The concept of a character using their rental girlfriend gig as a way to overcome social anxiety is probably the single most interesting thing the series does with its core concept, honestly. And just as a quick aside on that note, it is so hugely disappointing that the whole rental girlfriend idea never really gets explored as anything more than the big thing the main characters keep secret so the plot can keep happening. Like, you would think that a story where 3 out of the 5 main characters are PG-13 sex workers would have something meaningful to say about sex work at all, but as soon as Chizuru reveals that Kazuya was the first guy to ever say something mean about her on the internet because he didn't really understand the full boundaries of their relationship, it becomes pretty obvious that the author has never talked to a single person who actually does the job that his manga is about. I can't read his mind, but I suspect that his only interest in that job is as a
Dude could literally do the rental girlfriend thing and then be like, hey, I want to pick your brain about your job and the things that you experience because I'm writing a manga about this. Like, he could literally just do that. I don't...
Here, let me get this for you.
Thanks for the gifted sub, right? Like, he could literally just... He could just do that.
realistic plot device that justifies drawing Kazuya on lots of dates with lots of cute girls without actually needing to earn those moments through character or story progression. Anyway, to bring it back to Sumi, with her mix of quiet timidity and intense determination to overcome that timidity, she certainly evokes powerful feelings of what we in the anime business call gap moe. She's just an innately endearing character who I can see easily claiming Chizuru's best girl crown by the time season 2 is done, but I don't know how much she's really going to add to the story beyond filling that shy girl gap in the harem lineup. Sumi does help move the plot forward in season 1, but only really by accident when
What that tongue do?
does help move the plot forward in season 1, but only really by accident when Kazuya's ex just happens to spot them out on their date and finally puts 2 and 2 together about his whole big secret with Chizuru. Mami Nanami is one of the single most hated female characters in the entire anime canon. Not only does she brutally dump Kazuya, block him on all her socials, and immediately bounce on over to a new boy's dick before the opening credits are even done rolling, she paradoxically refuses to let him go in the pettiest and most personal way possible. See, when she sees him with Chizuru, Mami is so incensed by the idea that a loser she dumped could somehow score a slam dunk on the rebound while she's busy doing himbo layups that she vows on the spot to break him and Chizuru up by any means necessary. More specifically, by cruelly leading him on into thinking he has another shot with her, even though she's not really interested at all. But then after he already confirms that he and Chizuru are breaking up, Mami still invites him up to the hotel pool after hours, so obviously there's something there and she's just way too fucked up to admit it, which is heavily implied through all the angry tweets she leaves on her Locked to be the result of some sort of traumatic backstory or whatever that left her super duper jaded about love and stuff. Clearly, Mami is intended to be a complicated, tragic figure, but since this manga doesn't really do complicated, she mostly just comes off as a manipulative monster who badmouths the hero in one breath, blows the next one directly onto the nape of his neck, and who generally takes every opportunity she can find to destroy his happiness wherever possible, seemingly out of pure spite. Unsurprisingly, the show's audience despises her for that. But much like S.H.I.E.L.D. Hero's princess bitch whore, that is ultimately proof that she's really doing her job as a heel. And again, like Multi, I'd argue that she is a much better character than many of the show's fans realize. But this time, I'm not just saying that because she's a good heel. Frankly, that's inconsequential given how totally unlikable all the faces in this anime are. No, Mami is the best character in this show, in part because she's the only remotely original character in the entire show, but mostly because she's completely in the right. All of her villain behavior only counts as villain behavior if you believe Kazuya Kinoshita deserves to be happy, and I absolutely categorically do not.
Yeah, so that is another thing. Like, people don't like her character, but also people love her. Why? Because she is, like, actively, like, I'm gonna ruin this whole man's life. Fuck him. Like, she actually wants to ruin his life. Like, and he sucks. So just, like, she's saving the other girls from him. She dated him and was like, he doesn't deserve them. He's a pretty big shitbag. Like, I just...
lies to his friends and family constantly for petty, egotistical reasons. He's also wasting money that his parents set aside specifically for his education. And he has a really bad habit of pressuring Chizuru into cleaning up after all his constant fuck-ups. I mean, shit, one of the only two unambiguously nice things that he does for another person in the entire first season is just Chizuru doing all the work. All he does is pay her to go on a date with Curry, which, considering the kind of fantasies he has, might not have even been a truly altruistic act. He certainly doesn't treat any of his other so-called friends with any respect or honesty, but I digress. There's other...
Remember, this dude is basically a pathological liar. And now is apparently every time he fucks up, he just gets Chizuru to go fix it. Again, girly pop. I would not be... That's a lot of work. For someone who I do not believe deserves it. Like, I couldn't do it.
Terrible things about Kazuya we need to get to. For example, almost every bad thing that Ruka's done to him, he's likewise done to Chizuru in some way, often in worse ways. Yet, at the same time, he kind of keeps leading Ruka on because deep down he likes having her as a backup plan, which is just horrible.
Yeah.
To be fair, he has done some brave and admirable things too, like jumping off that boat for Mizuhara, jumping off those steps for Ruka, and stepping in when that group of creeps was catcalling Sumi. But he also only did that last thing I mentioned specifically because he knew it would get back to Chizuru if he didn't, so, like, I guess the outcome is ultimately more important than the motivation there. He definitely did a good thing, but clearly that alone doesn't make him a good person. Now, to be balanced, Mami isn't a good person either. She's definitely a lying, manipulative snake. But so is fucking Kazuya. The only difference is he manipulates people with pity instead of lust. And at the end of the day, the only person in this whole college community with the guts, drive, and vision to put a stop to the very serious, ongoing problem that is Kazuya Kinoshita is Mami Nanami, who did nothing wrong. Actually, no, that's not true. She can be very mean to the other girls, and they mostly don't deserve it, but Kazuya does. 100%.
She's a villain to the other girls, kind of. They don't really deserve the treatment. Kazuya 100% deserves the treatment.
Zero hesitation. Fuck that guy.
Like, two of them have pink tips in their hair. Like, the main girl and the villain girl have, like, pink hair tips.
Mami Nanami isn't just some random bitch out to ruin a guy's life for no good reason. Oh no. She is Kazuya's righteous karmic reward for the untold suffering that he has inflicted on everyone who was ever foolish enough to care about him or his stupid go-nowhere love story just by being himself. And you know, the funny thing about that is, looking at her character in that light actually makes the rest of the show a lot easier to enjoy. Because suddenly, not only do I have a character I can actually root for again, instead of a pathetic loser who makes Keitaro Urashima look confident and decisive, but instead of being constantly disappointed because the romance never goes anywhere, I get to feel satisfied because that's exactly what my protagonist wants.
It's like, I'm cheering on Mommy, the villain. Let's go. She's getting her way. Things are going her way. Hell yeah. A lot of people started doing that because, like, he sucks. Like, the main character sucks. And he doesn't learn. He has no character growth, no character development. He doesn't learn anything. He just kind of sucks. Like,
I'll tell you something. Say what you will about mommy simps and the likelihood of them sticking their dicks in vacuum cleaners, they are secretly winning harder than anyone else watching this show. But you know who's winning even harder than that? People who watch anime that actually respects their intelligence and time. Anime like Kaguya-sama Love is War, which, not content to simply feature a better love story than Twilight, Rent-a-Girlfriend in its A-plot, also outdoes it as a harem anime specifically in its romantic B-plot. I made a whole feature-length video essay about this that you might have seen. That part specifically is covered in the Yui Shigami chapter. It's probably the single best video I've ever made, so please go watch it if you haven't already.
I worked so hard on this video. It took so much time. Please go watch it. Bless, dude. I feel you.
Or even if you have. But really, you don't even need to watch a smart anime like Kaguya to get a better rom-com experience than this. Shit, you can get pretty much the exact same rom-com experience in literally half the time just by reading Love Hina instead. Except, don't do that, because that's a really bad manga, and even at 118 chapters, still excruciatingly slow.
Okay, so this dude does not like Ken Akamatsu. Like just straight up not a fan of Ken Akamatsu.
There are so many better harem and rom-com anime you could be watching instead, like Toradora, Tenchi Muyo,
Yeah.
Quintessential Quintuplets, Bokuben, Girls Bravo, Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches, Saikano, The World God Only Knows, To Love Ru, High School DxD, Monster Musume, Sekirei, fucking Ari Ferretta. All of them offer
Oh no, I guess she has pink tips too. Weirdly, sometimes. I don't know.
everything that Rent-A-Girlfriend could ever possibly give you, and so much more. Even if that more is just uncensored titties, it's still a better use of your time. To the Rent-A-Girlfriend fans who've still stuck around this far, I'm sorry if all that sounds overly harsh. I try to go into these roasts with a positive attitude and open mind to the show I'm covering, see the good with the bad, offer fair and balanced criticism, all that.
There was a thing where, I think someone in my chat mentioned it earlier. The author for this did do a lot of stuff where he would, draw the main girl in pictures with himself and post them or something like that. He would do that a lot. Which, okay. Sure.
That jazz.
He was a big self-insert.
And
Oof.
I picked this show to roast specifically in part because I remember kind of enjoying season 1 when it was on. But almost none of it held up on the second look, and the longer I kept staring at the anime and the manga that spawned it, the more I began to well and truly hate it. Or at least parts of it, specifically the Kazuya-shaped parts, because he's quite possibly the worst harem protagonist ever, and that's already the worst kind of protagonist. And maybe those feelings are partly my fault. Maybe I made a big mistake by jumping into this show after spending the better part of a month immersed in literally the greatest rom-com ever written. Maybe
I will say, I have a hard time getting into harem shows. I have to have a waifu in the harem show before I can, really get into it. And a lot of times I just drop them if I start them because I'm I don't really. I'm fine with a slow burn if it is a respectful amount of time and not just we're just going to make them not hold hands or anything for, ever. Whatever. I'm fine with slow burn. If I don't like any of the girls, I can't get into it.
it's just my decade-and-a-half-old Love Hina blue balls acting up, and I'm misdirecting all my frustrations and resentment for my wasted youth at this show when I should be mad at that one. Or maybe Rent-A-Girlfriend is just a really fucking bad, agonizingly slow story whose only notable qualities are its appealing waifus and an astounding ability to convince its audience that a big, juicy plot development has gotta be just around the corner, no matter how many times they turn a corner to find fuck all there. And maybe I don't need to read all of it to make a very educated guess as to what it's like, because I've already suffered through Love Hina and crippling depression in real life. I think I'll leave it to someone with the patience / lack of better things to do to actually finish this whole thing to make that final conclusion. I am fucking done with this anime, though. Even if this video gets a huge amount of views and I have a clear financial incentive to go back and cover the whole manga, I think I'll just subject myself to Love Hina again and Love Hina again and roast those instead. Life is just too short for Rent-A-Girlfriend. I'm Jeff Thu, professional Kazuya hater, hating Kazuya from the depths of my soul.
That's funny. I mean, he does suck. He is not a good protagonist. Apparently. So, I get it. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. I didn't read it. It didn't seem to be my kind of thing. I'm not the biggest on harem stuff anyway, to be honest. I like a rom-com, but like it doesn't have to be harem. That's just me personally. Occasionally I will get really into a harem, but usually you can pretty much tell with most of them exactly who they're going to end up with. So it's like, if it's not the girl that I'm like, no, that one's my waifu, or like, no, I like that one, then I'm less interested in it, if that makes any sense. That's just me personally. I don't know.